Everybody to the Melissa's Kitchen here today. My guest is Melissa Lanz of the Fresh 20, but let me introduce a little bit about her. We have a couple of her team members here in the audience today, Trent, photographer, marketeer, and Christina, her right hand in the kitchen. So let me tell you a little bit about Melissa. Melissa actually has been a long friend of ours, Melissa's, ironic, huh? And she's been a long-time food fan, friend, and partner as we have provided her glorious produce over the years for her many marketing in regards to her Fresh 20 and also her book. But now all of her books are on digital platform on her website. But let me tell you a little bit about her. As the creator and founder and author of the Fresh 20, Melissa's committed to the family dinner. As a recipe developer, she is committed to using the best ingredients possible in her kitchen. She is the author of her first book from a few years ago, back in 2013, called The Fresh 20 Cookbook. She is a former cooking instructor, television writer, and 15 years of internet professional. Melissa has returned to the kitchen to introduce preservative-free foods to the family's dinner table. Melissa has been featured in many publications over the years, including Prevention Magazine, the New York Times, InStyle, USA Weekend, and a contributing editor for Shape Magazine. She is a passionate businesswoman who believes health and happiness starts in the kitchen. She is a local resident here in Southern California. Now let's hear from Melissa Lanz.
Thank you. Hi, guys. So this is one of my favorite places at Melissa's because they have so much fresh produce, and it's a pretty amazing place to be. And Robert is such a huge encyclopedia of produce and where everything comes from, and it's always expanding my knowledge to come and to be here. So I'm really excited about being here today. I'm excited to talk about unprocessed food, no preservative living, and really cooking with bright, fresh ingredients today. We're going to make a couple of recipes, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about how I got my start into doing this, because I did not always cook fresh. I had a long time relationship with preservative-laden food. I was raised on TV dinners. My mom knew how to cook 5 things. One of them, I believe, was tuna melt. And it was, I had a little bit of a precarious relationship with food. And it wasn't until I actually got into my 30s and had kids before I started to realize that I better kind of figure out what this food thing was, and how it could heal me, how it could make me feel better. What did I want to teach to my kids? And I realized that I didn't want my kids to have the same food issues that I did. I didn't want my kids to, binge eat because they weren't feeling good. I didn't want my kids to look to food as an emotional. I looked at my babies and I wanted them to be fueled by food. I wanted them to be nourished by food. And it became really important to me. And I realized that one of the biggest privileges that I had as a mom, as a parent, was to decide what they were going to eat when they were small kids, so that hopefully they would make better decisions when they got to be adults. So all of this came into building this company and this service, the Fresh 20, which really is about taking a limited amount of ingredients, right? Not restrictive. They change every week, right? We're constantly changing with the seasons, but it was really about taking a limited amount of ingredients and making the most that you could, right? Being bountiful with that. So as you can see, one of our recipes is very colorful. I like to have colorful food, very, very important. Someone asked me earlier, they said, well, how do you define unprocessed, right? One, it's cooking with whole foods, right? It's cooking with foods that, don't necessarily have labels attached to them, single food ingredients, foods that haven't been heavily processed. And my definition of it is, if you can cook it at home, right? If you can make it with all whole ingredients in your own home, then that's unprocessed to me, right? If you take something and you use all like fresh natural ingredients, than that is. So while bread at the supermarket may be processed in a manufacturing plant, you can go to a baker that's using all whole ingredients, no preservatives, everything. And to me, that's still is eating, right? It's still nourishing your body because you're using whole ingredients. So everybody gets to decide what process means to them, but that's what it means to me. So there's a lot of things, but I do like to put so many fruits and vegetables on my plate and feed them to my kids. And so I really do believe that color and season can kind of dictate what we eat. It's really, really important to get out to your grocery store and your farmer's market. A lot of people that I worked with over the years, I was just telling someone earlier, they pass by the supermarket. There's a whole section that they pass by, and because it has kind of a funky outside shell, or they're not quite sure what it is, or it might be cherimoya, or my favorite thing that I didn't know what it was for forever was Christina, what's the thing that we eat with the green? It's no. Oh, I love fennel. It's like a squash, but it's green and it chayote. Where was that all my life? I didn't have chayote until I was 42 years old. I mean, I feel like I really missed out on something. So all of these things, right? I love doing this because it opens my eyes to all of the bounty that there is in our world to eat. And there's not just peas and carrots and broccoli. That's what I ate growing up my whole entire life. I planned what I was going to eat based on if there was a brownie in the Swanson's dinner meal. So that's literally how I chose what I was going to eat. If there was the apple pie, I didn't want it. But if it was that brownie, I would eat whatever else was on that plate, which usually was Salisbury steak. So I've come a long way of eating really good food. And I really believe that every family, every household can decide for themselves that they want to nourish their bodies too. So today we're going to make this really colorful vegan chopped salad. And you can see like how would you not want to eat this? I'm going to make a dressing for it first. I really believe that dressings can be made at home. I don't really understand buying dressings in a bottle. I don't get it. It's so easy to put a dressing together. So it's faster and it tastes better than in the bottle. So most bottle dressings, because of the preservatives and everything they put on them, aren't necessarily fresh. I know that they do have some that are like they have a shelf life, so they're refrigerated and everything, and those might be better. But you guys, make your dressings. Like, it's so easy, and there's so many things that you can do. Today we're gonna make an avocado dressing for this because since it's vegan, since there's not a protein in it, I wanted it to have a fat in it, right? I wanted it to have something that would stick to your bones a little bit. So I put a little bit of the avocado in it. I can use these knives, but they say Melissa's on them, so I'm going to go for it. So we're going to put a little of avocado in it to get that extra, the fat that your body needs when having a meal. So the avocado goes in, and then lemon juice, right? I would say one of the number one things that we use in our household every single day is lemon or lime in some way, shape, or form. It has so much flavor in it. It adds that little bit of acidity to it. And you just can't go wrong with having fresh citrus in your house. Even if you guys notice, if you go home, you cook something, right? And you taste it, tastes good, add just like a couple of drops of fresh lemon juice in it, and then taste it and see how it feels. It just somehow brings it alive. So lemon juice is definitely one of those things that is so good. I'm also going to put in apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is one of those things they say is really, really good on a daily basis for some people that might be having high cholesterol, that might be experiencing different inflammation. Apple cider vinegar, I try and get my husband to take a tablespoon in morning water. It's not always successful, so I put it in the recipes. Anybody have apple cider vinegar when they are, ginger. apple cider vinegar. I just think it's a great thing to put in. Ginger, fresh, you can grate it, you can peel it and chop it. Fresh ginger's going in. Garlic, just double checking. And you know, Melissa's has this great garlic that comes peeled, which is great because then it doesn't get all over your hands. So I'm just going to mash with a fork, would be easier for a second. I'm gonna mash this up. So you guys, so easy just to have these things. These are all things that you might have on hand. If you didn't want to use the avocado for some reason, if you didn't like avocado, you could do the same recipe with some squash. You could just cook off a little bit of squash and use that. I know that seems untraditional, but it's a good replacement for avocado. Obviously, it doesn't have the same fat content that avocado has, but it can yield the same consistency for the salad. Oh, I just love all these things together. I just can't. I would make salad dressing. So one of the things that I do with salad dressing, I would also use this as a sandwich base instead of mayonnaise. I use salad dressings a lot for salad base, balsamic vinegars, honey mustards, things like that. Anything to kind of stay away from mayonnaise, because I just haven't found that mix of mayonnaise yet that really makes me feel like I'm eating something good. And I don't like to make it at home. So usually I do it with a little bit of something else. Okay, so everything is in there. I'm going to do this because this looks bigger. So we've got cauliflower, a head of cauliflower, probably a little bit more because we're making for a crowd. Then to add in a little bit of carrot. This is going to make a little bit it's a crunchy salad. It's a hearty salad, but it's all vegan. And the nice part of it is that you can serve it on its own, or you can serve it with grilled meat, grilled tofu, like whatever you want. But it really does make a really hearty salad. This is chopped kale. Now you could use chopped spinach. You could use what else? You could use Swiss chard. Anything in the dark greens you could use. Kale works really well with the avocado and everything, but definitely you want a dark green in your salads. This cabbage. Now you could absolutely use any color cabbage that you want. This one just happens to be beautiful. We've got some red onion, delicious. One of the things about this salad, this is parsley. So you guys, this is really simple for entertaining. I like to make things that I can make ahead of time. A great salad to make ahead of time because it's just going to marinate and marinate. So you could make this in the morning to serve at an afternoon barbecue. That would be totally, totally fine. And it just comes together so nice. And then we're going to add in that avocado dressing. It's kind of a thick dressing. You'll find it's going to coat all of the vegetables. So I like to make this in advance, leave it, and then platter it for entertaining. So, so easy. So some of the other things that we tried today, again, I'm into easy. I want it to be accessible for everybody to eat. I don't want to be, really working super hard because there's a lot to do. And if you have a family, and my kids play sports, they do other things, I want to come over and I want to enjoy my friends. I spent years being the person that was in the kitchen the entire time while my guests were there. And a few years ago, I decided I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to make everything in advance and enjoy myself and enjoy their company. Although the kitchen does seem to be where everybody gathers no matter what. They don't care if it's dirty. They don't care if it's small. I remember when holiday season, we had our family over and there was 30 of us. And I set up the backyard beautifully, and I set up the living room beautifully and everything. Guess where everyone was? Right in the kitchen, right in my way. So that was just fresh parsley. So you guys can see. Can you see? How can I tilt? Oh, nice. Fancy. So you guys can see how beautiful this is. And then um, when it gets plated, it's just a really great. And so here's another thing you could do. If you were going to serve like it was chicken, you could plate it and then you could slice chicken and top it with the sliced chicken for a really, really nice dish. And how good is it? Here's what I love about entertaining with healthy food. How nice is it to show up to someone's house with something that is going to nourish them, right? Going to nourish your friends and family. How nice is that to show up with something that is going to be good for them as well as taste good? I believe in that. I think it's really, really important that we do small things all the time to try and promote wellness with our community. And, I know the more that my kids can see good examples of what it looks like to entertain at our house or to have a birthday party that doesn't have hot dogs and hamburgers in it or to do something like that, the more that they can see that, the more it normalizes eating for wellness, right? To them and to their friends. And it's funny because we have a lot of my kids have their friends come over and their parents are like, oh, they're super picky eaters. They're not going to eat anything, everything. And when their parents leave, those kids eat all my food. I just want you to know it's because the parents are like, oh, you don't have to eat it. I'll buy you dinosaur something. All right. So vegan chopped salad, super easy, right? And listen, here's the nice thing about it. You guys can decide what you like, what you don't like. There's so many fruits and vegetables that you can sub in with a salad like this. If you didn't want to do, let's say, carrots, you could do bell peppers. If you didn't want to do the cauliflower, you could just leave it out and put something else in. You could add scallions to it, leeks to it. I mean, it's endless what you can do. It's just about deciding to do the basics and then move on from there and just know that you want to do something healthy. Thank you. Awesome. Any questions about the salad so far? Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what would be really pretty? This is an olive oil list. There's no oil in this one, right? So the avocado is the base. You absolutely could add a little olive oil. You could put it on a platter and you could cover it with slices of lemon, which would be really pretty on the plate. You could serve a little olive oil on the side if you wanted it to be really, really creamy. But that's the whole thing. You can mix and match it however you want, right? I think that if you had like an olive oil at home that somebody gave you that was like a special flavor, like a chili olive oil, or we have one at home that's a strawberry balsamic vinaigrette, I would put a little bit of that on it, right? And those are the good times where you could use something like that, where it's not gonna make your dish like super flavored in the wrong direction. So in talking about, so everything I make is simple, right? And well, I wouldn't say everything. Sometimes I, get a little bit complicated. Oh, we forgot the best part, sorry. Sunflower seeds and raisins. And again, you could use cranberry seeds. You could use hazelnuts. It's all up to what you have in your pantry and in your kitchen. But the base, the important thing to remember, the base, avocado, lemon juice. Oh, thank you. Do you have a little bit smaller one? All right, thank you. Avocado, apple cider vinegar, lemon juice. That's going to be your base of that. And then ginger. I didn't salt and pepper it in front of you guys, but obviously you'd salt and pepper to taste. And so that is just the base of that salad, is just getting away from the oil for a minute, using the avocado as a fat, and then throwing in those vegetables. So You guys all got to taste that salad. Did you guys like the chopped salad? It's good. So this is another one of my go-to entertaining recipes. So entertaining to me should be good things that are light. So a lot of times I like to make a couple of these salads, and then I like to grill something, right? Because that's easy, and I can usually marinate it beforehand and then hand it off to the grill master. So this is another one of those salads. It's called a Lebanese salad, and super, super easy. So we used baby, what did we use today? Oh, Dutch yellow potatoes that are super delicious. You can use any small potato you want. You could use red potatoes if you wanted to. The Melissa's Dutch yellow potatoes are absolutely delicious. They always make all of my salads much, much better. So you boil them off with the skin on. We want that skin. Why would we get rid of it, right, for this potato salad? So we want to have that skin. So you're going to boil them off. You can cut them into quarters. It's really, you guys, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is either a family salad meal or for friends that are coming over. So you can enlist people in your home to help if you want. I always like to get helpers, but this is the hardest part of this recipe is boiling, cutting, right? That's as hard as it gets. The thing that I like about this salad is it's super fresh. Again, it uses citrus, which is absolutely amazing. It uses scallions. It uses mint, a little olive oil, and that's pretty much it. So such an easy salad, but it is a crowd pleaser. I'm telling you, like, I didn't know how good this salad was going to be at a party, and I replaced it. So I went to a 4th of July party, and they asked me to make traditional potato salad, you know, with the relish and the mayonnaise and all that stuff. And I said, okay, but I'm going to bring mine too. Like, I'm going to bring one that I want to eat. And she's like, okay. And mine was gone before everyone else's. This salad was even pleasing people that wanted like a traditional yellow potato salad. So don't always assume that you have to go with the traditional items, right? You can mix it up and make your own healthy version. So this is this just mint? Okay. So a lot. This is one bunch? Okay. All right. So the mint, delicious. And you could use red onion. You could use, I'm going to put the lemon in first, that fresh lemon juice. So good. Olive oil. Again, test your oils. Like, I know we use avocado oil, olive oil. Some people use coconut oil now, but you guys, there's so many good oils. There's hazelnut oil. There's, which is delicious. There's, what are some of the other oils? There's that are like really have those distinct flavors. There's garlic oil. Walnut oil is so good. So any of those oils on the salad, because it's such a basic base, right? That it's adding to the flavor. And walnut oil with the mint and the potatoes would be absolutely delicious. So I don't know if you wanted to get that while you it's just, doesn't that just look fresh? It just looks like my body wants to eat that. It just, oh, and it smells delicious, that fresh mint. That fresh mint smells so good. And then a little salt and pepper that you might want to. Now, here's one of the things. I have a battle in my house because I am not a salt person. My husband is a crazy salt person. Like, every single thing I make, they're high-fiving back there. Every single thing I make, he says, more salt, right? And to me, I'm like, if I put more salt on this, it's inedible to me. I can't eat it. So what I always suggest, make it everything, and before you put your salt and a little out, you can leave the salt and pepper on the table. So for a dish like this, you do not have to salt and pepper it like when it goes on the platter. If you're eating it at home, let everybody do their own, right? Because I don't want as much salt as he does. And I don't want, to make that decision for my guests at all. So get a really pretty little salt and pepper containers and put those on your buffet table if you're entertaining, and let people make the decision for themselves. Because for me, if I oversalt everything, half of my friends are going to be upset and half of them are going to be in bliss. So that's just one of those things about seasoning that I just think everybody's got to make their own choice. But trust me when I tell you, he oversalts everything. I would never put salt on that. It tastes so fresh and so amazing. But I know he would. But even the potatoes are a little bit salty just naturally on their own. So you guys, I just wanted to demo a couple of those things. I wanted you to see how easy they were to put together and how good food doesn't have to be difficult. I know it wasn't the, you at the stove grilling and all of that, but right, sometimes we overcomplicate things. So I just wanted to show you a couple of my favorite things that I serve to people that come into my home.
All right.